We begin this morning in Edo State, where thugs went on a rampage along the airport road in Benin on Thursday, shooting sporadically, all in a bid to prevent the reinstated Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, from accessing the government house in Osadebe Avenue. Also on the entourage was the APC governorship candidate, Senator Monday Okpebholo, whose police aide was killed with 3 others injured. Arise correspondent Christy Macaulay has more.
The reinstated Edo State Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu, in company of APC governorship candidate Senator Monday Okpebholo, were received at the Benin airport by scores of supporters. But just as the airport reception was ongoing, thugs took over the major road, shooting indiscriminately and causing mayhem, which led many supporters to scamper for safety, with some people left injured. A police orderly attached to Okpebholo was shot dead, with 3 other policemen injured in the process. The Edo State government has accused the reinstated Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu of allegedly causing mayhem and inflicting pain on citizens who were going about their lawful duties, all in the guise of enforcing the Federal High Court judgment which nullified his earlier impeachment. In a statement by the Commissioner for Communication and Orientation, Chris Naikari, the state government says it will not allow such act that will lead to a breakdown of law and order, while declaring that Shaibu will be made to face the full wrath of the law. Christy Macaulay, Arise News.
Top hierarchy of the Edo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, including the party's governorship candidate, Senator Monday Okpebholo, have conveyed the corpse of his slain police orderly who was shot dead by thugs along the airport road to the State Police Command headquarters in Benin City. Acting chairman of the APC in Edo State, Jarrett Tenebe, and other members are protesting the death of the slain officer. The policeman, who was attached to Senator Okpebholo for over 12 years, was allegedly shot by thugs during a convoy movement by reinstated Edo State Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu following his entry into the state to return to his office as ordered by the Federal High Court. We now cross live to Benin, the capital of Edo State, for updates from our correspondent, Christy Macaulay. In a moment, we'll go to Edo State. But before we head over to Edo State, Rufai, what's your take on this story? Sunday will make it exactly 2 months to the Edo State elections. And now we're seeing this happen. But I mean, beyond the elections, we know the court order just 2 days ago. Your take on this story?
It's quite very sad. And my condolences first go to the family of that police officer, because he died in the line of duty and it was a needless death. Whatever the skirmish might be between politicians, it doesn't warrant taking the life of another man whose only duty is to serve his country. My condolences also go to the Nigerian police force as regards that. Also, I think there should be an independent investigation into the remote causes of what happened. I do not see where a convoy movement for a deputy governor that has just been reinstated through the courts. And anyway, there's also been an appeal to that case and a stay of execution. So if there's a stay of execution, somebody will ask, what's the rush? And he's moving in a convoy and he was attacked. The question is, who are those that attacked? Those thugs, who are they loyal to? Also, the State Police Command has a lot of questions to answer here. The Edo State Police Command. And you'll have been great on television this morning if we had had the Edo State Police Commissioner to be able to throw more light on all of this happening. The government has given a response to it. But any response the government gives to what happened will be a partisan reaction. Because if one part claims that the government is to be blamed for all of this, then we need a balancer in the middle. And that's why I said there should be a proper investigation. Furthermore, the president of this country should note all of these activities happening in Edo State leading up to the elections. We do not want a situation where there's going to be destruction of lives and property. It is a sad day for Nigeria, and sad day for Nigeria's democracy, and sad day for our democratic actors who only think about themselves and how to put themselves perpetually in power, and they will not stop, even if when lives are lost.
All right, Dr. Bati.
Okay, I'm a bit lost. What are we discussing? Is it the 70,000 naira new national minimum wage or Edo State?
We'll get to the
I thought you read first the issue of Edo State. Let me comment on the new national minimum wage, which we had a video on. Now, let me comment on that first. I think it's a very good, positive development. After many weeks of quarrels, conflicts between the federal government and, labor over what should be the appropriate new national minimum wage. First, it's a matter of law. The law says after every 5 years, the law will be reviewed. The last time we had the new national minimum wage was in 2019. And now the tripartite committee met and made a recommendation. I made a recommendation of 62,000 to the federal government. And now the president has now decided that 70,000. And Labour says they are comfortable with it. Now the bill has to go to the National Assembly. When it goes to the National Assembly has already said they will approve it. Secondly, we also understand that Labour is also happy because of the condition of the economy. And government is going to take additional steps, provide CNG buses, about 36 of them. Each of them would be able to carry 100 persons, we have been told. So the negotiation, Labour wanted 615,000. They brought it down to 500. They brought it down to 497. They brought it down to 250,000. And now there's some reconciliation in that regard. But the decision to say that every 3 years this will be looked at, I think is an important development. But everything remains to be seen. Whether the state governments would be able to pay, and they will not behave like Dario Fo and say we can't pay, we won't pay. As for Edo State, which you added to the story, Edo State, look, what we should say is that violence is not allowed. Whatever the Federal High Court may have said with regard to Philip Shaibu, it's the position of the court. That does not guarantee anybody, either called the Edo State Security Network or a group allegedly belonging to Francis Inegbe Nikki, I think that's the name, to say that they will take the law into their hands. Everybody that is seeking, a place, a stakeholder in that Edo State election needs to be protected. And what we are seeing in this particular regard will seem to be the failure of security. Where are the security agencies? In many parts of Nigeria, we have non-state actors taking over the space and causing mayhem and disrupting the process. Whatever may have happened in Edo State is contrary to the principles of democracy and the rule of law. And the stakeholders that are involved, the security agencies, I think they dropped the ball. They failed in this particular regard. Philip Shaibu can push for his rights. Okpebholo, can say, he's the one that has been chosen by his party. On no account should anybody be intimidated or harassed. That, I think, is the point. And the security agencies must ensure that going forward, either in Edo State or elsewhere, that they protect all the stakeholders. Partisan politics has nothing to do with the job of security. To say that they have been attacked and that Okpebholo is currently in hospital is most unfortunate, is most unacceptable, and, everybody must be safe in this country.
Absolutely, everyone must be safe. So the genesis of this, like I mentioned, was that following the court ruling on Wednesday that the deputy governor of the state, former deputy governor that was impeached by the State House of Assembly, ought to be reinstated because, according to the judgment, his impeachment was politically motivated and didn't follow due process. And on account of that, on the mandate of that, he decided to have almost what we call a triumphant entry into the state through the capital, Benin City. And he was in the company of the man that he has chosen to support, or the candidate that he's chosen to support against his party's nomination in the person of the APC's Okpebholo. Now, their convoy also, of course, he was received by, according to reports, received by teeming youth, a number of youth who had come to receive him. And he asked that they accompany him to take his position as deputy governor once again following the ruling. By the way, yes, the State House of Assembly has instituted an appeal, put in an appeal and also a stay of execution, but that hasn't yet been granted. So as at yesterday, when he arrived in Benin, he was still able to go and take on his position as deputy governor. Now, recall that in that ruling, the judge had also asked that the IG of police deploy security to support his going back into office. Now, that's where we then bring in the role of security agencies, or perhaps their failure in protecting him and also leading to the death of one of them, who is said to have been an aide to Senator Okpebholo for about 12 years. Very sad situation. Only a few days ago, we were talking about political violence in the United States of America, where, former President Donald Trump was almost assassinated as the bullets just brushed his ear. And we said the same thing, that it happens everywhere, but it's a sad reality that ought not to be so. So whilst he was going, and then they said some gunmen, unnamed gunmen, came in a Sienna bus and opened fire and shot into the air. And of course, his security aide, alongside that of Senator Okpebholo, opened fire as well, and it became a free-for-all. The challenge with this is that there were people around as well, businesses that had to close down as a result of this violence. There were young people who had chosen to welcome back, Mr. Shaibu, Philip Shaibu, back into the former deputy governor, back into the city, who were also part of that. It is sad to know that a number of people were injured. One person lost their lives as a result of what could be said to be political violence. It's important that the actors who have been said to maybe be part of this, they've mentioned the ESS and as Edo State Security Network, they've mentioned a chieftain of the PDP who has come out with a statement to categorically deny that he had any involvement with that. Just like you mentioned, the most important thing is that a full investigation must be instituted, and we must understand who and what is responsible for these animals we brought to book.